All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I need our responses because we are going to the academic side of Web3 and how science, research, or education actually has a key utility in the Web3 space. So please, slides, please. Yep. So this aspect of Web3 is actually very early. You have not heard of it before, or you might have not heard of it before. And I just want to take a simple poll. You know, how many of you have heard of decentralized science? If you heard of decentralized science, just wave at me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 persons out of, all of us has heard about decentralized science. And the key thing is, to be honest, this is one of the easiest places to get into the Web3 space. Why? Because most of us, or all of us, went to school, we are motivated to attain a degree. So I'll be talking about introduction to decentralized science. Let's go. So my name is Scott Itepu. I'm a brand and marketing strategist. And in the Web3 space, I still do branding and marketing, as well as a science communicator. I contribute to various DeSci DAOs or science DAOs or bio DAOs, Valley DAO, Cerebrum, the aspect of product and user research. And as well, contribute to Research Hub as a science communicator or science writer. So today we'll be talking about one of the most interesting aspects of the Web3 space. And one key thing I'll tell you is that this space now has its own token, or its own unified token, especially for the biological DAOs. Now let me explain, let me give us a proper landing into where we're going. All right, so now, decentralized science is the application of what decentralized technologies. That is, you look at the blockchain and you look at science like medicine, engineering, space exploration, food technology, brain health, that's neuroscience, psychiatry, and we are utilizing the blockchain to what? Push these areas. Now, if we are all, how many of us were students here? Okay, and we are familiar with different courses that we actually studied. You will notice that there are like key barriers that you encountered, while either as being a student or trying to write your final year project and so on and so forth. Now, you cannot just say you want to wake up, and you want to start something in your course area. Why? Because you may need a lot of licensing, you may need a lot of exams that you need to write. But when we come to the aspect of decentralization, all you just need to do is to have an idea. Okay? And now, this picture, is it familiar to you or not? Very familiar. Because by the time they take your own project to this place, your project will say, what am I doing here? Then these ones that I did there will tell me you don't know what you are doing here. Because we just write a lot of research as undergraduates and they end up at the back of our department or at the faculty. But this side is giving us the opportunity to think further, to dream. The only thing that can limit you in this side is if you have signed NDA. That's non-disclosure agreement with your supervisors, your academic people. But you can actually think of a problem or a solution, and there are a whole lot of persons that are ready to join you in solving those problems. So in this side, all you need is to what? Is to think. Now, this is where we are as a continent, or let me say as a country. I don't know what they are doing in Ghana, but it may look like this. Okay, so now, the current space is what we call traditional science. Lagos State University, Teaching Hospital, General Hospital, Institute of Tropical Agriculture, our universities are all traditional science institutions. Why? Because we follow the analog system of things. Before I get funding, I must go through the director of research of a university, or I must sign letters across all the about 5-10 offices in my faculty, or I need to get access to the governor or the commissioner of health before I really want to launch a health project. So now traditional science refers to the conventional approach to scientific research and development, which involves established institutions, methodologies, and infrastructures. So this is where we are. But this is where I believe all of us should be. So let's go. Now, the key barriers or blockage that we experience or blockers are: one, centralized institutions, institutional control. Somebody must approve something, data access. Now we have, or all of us have experienced, writing project, and you know how difficult it is to find references. They will say you must find reference from 2010 to 2024. It must not be more than 10 years. Then you go on ResearchGate and all of that. Why? Because you check some publications, you see that they are not available, you have to pay for them. But that's not necessarily the case in the space of decentralized science. And the previous presenter talked about reward asset. There are key correlations between these two fields. So let's proceed. And then funding. You likely never really get funding in this space. Corruption may limit you, one. Then others, processes may limit you as well. But in this side, that's not the case. The next set of examples I'll be giving are projects that actually started from an extent from scratch. I'm a contributor at CryoDAO, and they raised $2.8 million. They just started the DAO. They raised $2.8 million to actually fund the project. In Cerebrum, we raised the amount of millions of dollars just for the product. Okay? And it is community that actually makes this area thrive. So there's a lot of money. But I want to tell you about how you will love education first, not necessarily money. I know all of us love to make big money in Web3, but there's an interesting use case, and this is where we are at. Okay, so now when we take a look at our academic system, when we say academic system is failing, it is the absence of possibilities. I and you cannot necessarily dream because, one, the curriculum is backward. So using this side, we can take 10,000 steps faster than where we currently are. So now there's basic science, there's translational science, and there's clinical science, there's academia and industry. One key thing that we identified at Valida, where we're trying to build a product that connects researchers and investors, is that your research should not necessarily stop as research. Your research should end up in an industry, or should end up as a business. So how exactly are we going to translate science to industry? This valley of death, you can say valley of the shadow of death, are all of the problems we're encountering in this previous slide. But you can see that the graph goes up when it gets to translational science. So this side, or decentralized science, is all about translational science. So with time, it's growing, and it's currently growing as well. So let's go. So now, what are the advantages of blockchain of science on the blockchain? What are the steps in the blockchain direction? One, transparency. All activities are recorded on the blockchain. We can see them. If you are paying somebody for a research, you are paying them to build a laboratory, and so on and so forth. We also have open access. There are no necessarily gated community. The only way they can get a community in the Web3 space is through purchase of tokens. And some of them are lenient as just have one of that token, just one of that particular token of the DAO. So now, collaboration. There are a lot of persons I never knew I would have met in my life, but just being in this space, searching on Twitter, sending somebody a message, being interested in their project, you will talk to people that you will never believe that have spoken to you. Talk to professors, and so on and so forth. So incentives is as glaring as it is. So contributing to these DAOs, irrespective of the skill set that you have, Now, let me just touch that. I'm supposed to talk about it when it comes to entry, so I think I'll do that there. Then immutability, you are secure and safe. And other use cases of the blockchain that ensures immutability is there's a law part of the blockchain, and Kleros does that actually. I think just search Kleros HQ. So funding, you can raise funding, you put your project. There are platforms that support funding. One is Catalyst by Molecule. If you have a science project that you want to fund or that you are working on, you submit to the deal flow team, they review, and they put it online. I'm also a steward at Gitcoin for this last DeSci round, and we actually funded a project, or we are in the process of funding project with about, I think, $35,000. Others will go through matching pools and stuff like that. So a lot of projects, even from Africa, from Nigeria, they actually applied to those matching rounds. They got approved, and they will also get part of the funding pool. So let's go on. So now let's just talk about history. So I've been trying to establish the concept. I want to tell you that this field is real. So this is a roadmap from BioXYZ. So you can check out bio.xyz to have proper understanding of what I've been talking about. BioXYZ is like biology and what? Decentralized autonomous organization. So you see Web3, but it's the Web3 that focuses on science. Okay. So now, VitalDAO was initiated in 2021. VitalDAO is similar to Vitality. They focus on longevity, promoting, reducing, or slowing down aging, and so on and so forth. Now, the first science funded on-chain in partnership with the University of Copenhagen. So you can see that even traditional institutions are now open to the possibilities of bringing science on-chain. Why? Because they also have the issues of raising the fund, where there are a whole lot of VCs and investors that are interested in raising funds for you. Okay, so Pfizer too, that produced COVID vaccine, backed VitalDAO in 4.1 million round. We have EDAO that's patented scientific research and all of that. And recently, BioXYZ onboarded 1,000 new science projects, to support for funding. So now, let me just give you examples of these DAOs. You could actually check all of them on Twitter. But if you go to bio.xyz, you're going to see all of them. You could explore and then find more information. You mostly get their Discord on their Twitter pages. Okay? So, we have VitalDAO that funds and supports early-stage longevity research. Athena DAO is mainly a female DAO, transformative women health research, funding and education. They also have ambassadorship programs for ladies and women. Side DAO that promotes progress in tokenized psychedelic science and art. And here, ValiDAO funding synthetic biology research to save the planet. That's mainly climate, agriculture, food science, and so on and so forth. They funded quite a whole lot of projects, and we're currently in the phase of building a launching flow that connects researchers and scientists together. We also have AirDAO that focuses on air growth, solving air loss, and so on and so forth. Then I'm also here at CryoDAO that funds high impact research in the field of cryopreservation. And here as well is Cerebrum DAO that advances brain health and preventing neurodegeneration. Now, there's this. So they're actually very important use cases for science on the blockchain. So one is having this project, on chain, solving life's problem, solving Earth's problem, by reducing the barriers and problems that we have, mainly, which is funding. Okay? So we have peer review and publication. There as well, apart from ResearchGate, that you may need to pay, to be able to publish your works and so on and so forth, or your write-ups, etc. There are institutions, organizations like ResearchHub that will do that for you for free. And as well, you even earn RSA, or you earn tokens by people of voting. When you contribute to other persons, when you review other persons' research and so on, you earn money. So peer review and publication. Now, you see that when in the history of our research in the university, your lecturer will just come, or your supervisor will just come and tear out the full chapter 2. And you cannot complain. You only cry behind the door. But in this field, nobody is necessarily bullying you. Nobody has the ultimate right to counsel your work. But different researchers, different individuals can what? Make suggestions to your publication, help you review, give you right direction, and help you on how to actually improve that research. Interesting thing is that there are as well on the Discord channels or Telegram channels, there are communities that you could ask questions. People join every day and ask questions. Oh, I'm into neuroscience. How do I start XYZ and so on and so forth? So we have decentralized clinical trials. Web3 organizations like WellShare Health, Axon DAO, Elata Biosciences, they focus on health. So they are the organizations that solve health problems, in this space. And they ensure data protection. So it's not like somebody will go to an hospital and see all the files they put in general hospital and can steal one and use it against you or use it for themselves in the future. But decentralization gives you access to even solving health problems, getting tests and securing your data. You could as well contribute your health data, help them carry out experiments as a way to, earn more money. So we have seen science and crowdsourcing, governance and ethical oversight, decentralized apps and platform. We have tokenization of research contributions, and we also have patenting research outcomes and data. So let's just fly. So these are key use cases. There are more, but all I'm trying to establish is that as a student, or if you were once a student, that believe that school no discount, this is an entry point. So some of us, when we talk about Web3, the only thing we know is the finance part. But I'm here to tell you that there is this for me and you. Those of us that don't know accounting, that do not like finance. Okay, so now how exactly can you get started in the GSI space? You could get started as one of these three, as a contributor, as a researcher, and as a DAO founder. As a contributor, let's say, for example, like me and some of us that are here, they're actually working with organizations. You could apply and say, or just send a simple Discord message or on Twitter and say, hi, my name is Scott. I am a brand and marketing strategist. I've gone over your profile or your project, and I want to contribute in XYZ ways. 99% of the time, you will get accepted. Why? Because the DeSci space is very early. For it to be early, you should know that only 4 persons out of all of us here knows about it. And I'm not sure that they're even actively involved, and they might have heard it from me. So it's time, or it's high time we encourage, if you have run past the educational part, you can encourage your younger ones to actually look into this space. So you can apply as a contributor, work in the aspect of content, that's awareness, deal flow. Deal flow helps review projects and for funding. There's also the tech or the product part. You can work as a developer, help develop those decentralized apps and so on and so forth. You could work as a writer to write threads and so on and so forth. And then starting up as a DAO founder. So if I have an idea, you could actually reach out to some of these institutions that back, DAO's creation and all of that. And then you pitch your idea, you go through accelerator. But XYZ has an accelerator or incubator program for people that are interested in in creating a DAO. So and as a researcher, just like I've explained. So you will learn the rest in reality. So it's just left for you to keep on trying and keep asking important questions. Thank you.
It's a round of applause for him. I like the end part. You will learn in reality. Because there are a lot of theoretical things that you are being taught today. You're going to learn is once you start, putting all of this into practice. Experience will teach you better. Do you have any question for him? Just one question so we can move on to the next person.
I noticed that most of the projects are more in biological sciences. For people that are in physical science, for example, I'm an applied geophysicist and I work with machine learning in mineral exploration. I didn't see anything for physics, maths. Everything is just about longevity and air growth and all. So what's the...
Okay, so I only use the bio side because it is much more established. But there are actually other areas. There's decentralized physical infrastructures. The last presenter, I think it was on the slide, but I'm not sure you can quickly pick that out. So they're actually organizations. I know Longco, I know iPad Design. They focus on this science part. But it's not necessarily my forte, so I do not pay so much attention. But to be very candid, there are a lot of them that focus on energy. Yes, I think Frontier DAO, yes, focuses on energy. So you can actually check. You can even ask ChatGPT or just search online about decentralized organizations in maybe physical infrastructure, energy, and so on and so forth. You're definitely going to find them. I only use this because there's a structure, and now there's even a unified token, that's bio, that is used to provide liquidity for all or some of these, all of these DAOs I've mentioned. So in the other aspect of science, your concerns are also there. And this question actually as well came up. We asked ourselves in the Gitcoin steward round, that what exactly is DeSci? Because in the DeSci space now, if you say DeSci in the DeSci space, most people that know DeSci only know these places. Like they mostly know these places. The rest persons are maybe the persons that are working on the science aspect that are not these biological sciences. But you could check online, you could search, and you'll find some of them. Yeah, thank you.
Please, a round of applause for him.